Week 10 of the Saturday morning huddle here and upon us right now here on WHBC's Facebook, YouTube, and just about anywhere else you can catch this at this point. Week 10, though, crazy to think that we are here. John Bozica, Kenny Rhoda along with you. And man, Kenny, I can't see you because you're not at home. You are luckily somewhere preparing for our final game of the weekend as the Bulldogs and the Tigers hook up today. And we see a perfect shot of 77 bustling behind Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium.
There you go, John, right? So a huge game today, 136 meeting, McKinley against Massillon, and we're going to have it live for everybody on our YouTube channel, live with Frank Salona and McKinley great coach Tom McDaniels, and of course on the radio, Mix 94.1 and 1480 WHBC, Dan Belford. Good. Denny Kincaid, Mark Miller, yours truly calling the action today, and can't wait to bring that to everybody. But before we get to that, John Bozica, here on the Saturday Morning Huddle, we need to take a look back at what happened in all the other rivalry games and other games that took place last night in and around Stark County.
Yeah, crazy night of games last night. And of course, we need to thank our sponsors. We could not do this without them every single Saturday. Akron Auto Auction, a key sponsor for us. We also would like to thank our folks at Marianne Donuts. They have the sweet play of the week coming up. We want to thank the folks at DeHoff Realtors, Ty Colucci. I want to thank them for being part of the huddle. Also, Community One Credit Union, thanks to them for sponsoring our player of the week, which we'll have later on in the show. Dirty Hands Excavating and Restoration LLC. And am I forgetting anyone at this point with our sponsors? I'm checking to see. I believe that's it. Those are the 5 that we have every single week. Kenny's away, so I'm flying a little solo on some of the things of checking those things here from home. But hey, we're getting it all to you this morning. And yes, Kenny, last night you mentioned a night of games that was really, really special. And man, did we have some good rivalry games last night.
Yeah, we did, John, and we're going to get to breaking all of those down. But I want to show everybody what goes into what we do on a Saturday morning huddle, all right? So I'm on location. We call it a remote site, right? We're at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium for today's Massillon-McKinley game. 2 o'clock again is kickoff. But I wanted to get here early to do the huddle from here so I could get everything set up for this show as well as our pregame show, by the way, Alt Care Stadium show plug with Rick Worstell, 1981 state championship quarterback for McKinley. We go 12-2 on 1480 WHBC and Mix 94.1. Then 2 o'clock is kickoff. But I wanted to get here, and this is a shot at the stadium, and then you come up into our press box where we will be doing the game from today. And look at this. I feel like the college football playoff committee, John Bozica. These are all the different things we go through on a Saturday morning to bring you the Saturday morning huddle with papers. And I have the menu like Kevin Stefanski does for his play calling with the different colors, meaning different games, different teams, and everything like that. So you get an idea of how much work goes into this Saturday morning huddle. And last night, boy, a lot of work to be put in this morning because of what happened last night. And I'll turn it around. Don't get scared, anybody. It's just me here inside the press box with the Saturday morning huddle. And John, this is going to be a fun show because, like you said, battle for the Blue Cup last night, battle for the Rail, the Holy War, so many different great rivalry games before we get to this Massillon-McKinley game today.
Yeah, a number of great games last night, as you mentioned, Hoover and Jackson doing battle last night. We'll, of course, take a closer look at that. There's the normal glasses.
The cheaters. Now I can read.
Yeah, I was going to say he's got the sunglasses on, and people are going to be wondering. So Hoover and Jackson, great game last night. But I want to start with our stream game from last night.
Okay.
To kick things off here. This was an overtime game between Green and Lake. And Kenny, this one went back and forth the whole way. And we're going to show some of the highlights now, but it was just a back and forth game all night. Green was the one that was on the scoreboard first via a touchdown. Lake scored on a field goal, but Green's Tyson Hunka was able to put them on the board. Davis Matson answered back on a short run for Lake. Hunka had a great game last night rushing the football. He struggled to pass, but he really had a great game rushing the ball last night. Here's Alex Squire taking the zone read around the right end, finding his way into the end zone. And again, this game, it was only 17-10 at the half, and that was the lead that Lake had. Then in the second half, they traded blows back and forth the whole way. Davis Matson, his second rushing touchdown in the second half there. And then later on, Green is able later in the game to eventually take the lead on this play right here, which as we see is this basic handoff to Evan Reed. He had a tremendous night last night, 179 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. And that touchdown there that was a key piece in the game. Lake drove down the field, Kenny. They got it within the 10. They had to settle for a field goal, though, late. That tied it at 27 in regulation. And then Green, Kenny, at the buzzer, they had a chance to win here. Logan Nareau had a shot from 31 yards to try to win the game. This was with 3 seconds left. Mark Geis worked perfectly. Kick on the way. Just short to the left. Just short to the left. But then Tyson Hunka, 1 yard out, leaps into the end zone to give Green the lead. And yes, Ty DeGeorge did return last night, and the ball was in his hands at the end of the game on this play. A double pass, looking in the end zone, nothing there, tries to settle for running and gets stopped at the 3. And Green, a winner in overtime, 34-27 in a great back and forth game. And like I said, Davis Matson, 2 rushing touchdowns. Evan Reed, a man's effort last night. And Green, how about them, Kenny? They were 1-5 4 short weeks ago, and they've reeled off 4 in a row.
They needed that game more than Lake did. Lake was in. Lake had a bye. Lake had a home game, right? They're in the Division II playoffs. Green needed to win to get in, and they get the victory. And, John, did Green make the playoffs with that win? Are they in according to Joe Itel?
According to Joe Itel, Green is in. I'm going to put it down at the bottom of the screen right now so that everybody can see. We have a banner scroll going. Here's all the teams that are in. McKinley and Jackson in Division I. Lake, Green in. Massillon, Hoover, Louisville. They just squeak in.
All right.
12 seed. They're in. Division III, Region 9. Alliance is in. D4, Region 13. West Branch, they have a bye. Northwest and Salem are all in. D4, Region 15. Yes, another 12 seed. Canton South is in. And then D7, Region 25. East Canton, Spider and the boys, they have a home game. They are in next round in the playoffs. All right, we mentioned – go ahead, Kenny.
I was going to say, we mentioned rivalries, and the rail was up for grabs last night. And let's take a look at the highlights. Jackson is at Hoover. Jackson won last year's game 23-20. Would they be able to make it 2 in a row? We take a look here. The first touchdown of the game, Lucas Ackerman with a touchdown pass. That's the opening drive. Jackson takes it the length of the field, just like that, 7-0, like a hot knife through butter. Okay? And we're thinking, oh, this is going to be a high-scoring affair, and it would turn out to be a high-scoring affair, but Lucas Ackerman throws the interception. The defense from Hoover was huge in this game last night. They applied pressure all night long and would set up their offense in good position to score. The touchdown run there for the Hoover Vikings right at the end of the first half. Zeros on the clock. They missed the extra point. It's 7-6 at halftime. Jackson, opening kickoff of the third quarter. They kick away from Jack Andes, and instead they decide, you know what? We're going to kick it to Bryson Byers. And all Bryson Byers does is take this baby 95 yards to the house, and Hoover goes for 2 points because they had the momentum. Coach Baum told me after the game they wanted to keep that momentum. They get it. It's 14-7 Hoover, and Hoover would dominate from there. And Jack Andes, we mentioned him. Here's a catch on a pass from Collins over the middle, and he powers his way into the end zone for the touchdown. They go for 2 points again right here. Look at this. Collins Going to throw it? Nope. Going to tuck it and run. 2-point conversion. I'm the greatest thing in the world. Look at him. He's celebrating in the end zone. So give the lead now to Hoover at 22-7. But guess what? How about Corey Jacobs? Over 1,000 yards for the season. His touchdown run there was the second and last touchdown for Jackson. But it was Hoover again defensively. The pick six, Carter Lukens takes it 40 yards the other way for the touchdown. The final, Hoover wins it 35-14, and they were just trying to run out the clock. Instead, you know what? They decide we're going to make sure we get that first down. They go up top, and that's Collins, the Andes. And they say, okay, now maybe we'll just run out the clock. We'll just hand it off and, get stopped at the line of scrimmage. But nobody stopped Jack Andes as he goes the distance. And he told me after the game he was thinking about sliding down before the end zone. But come on, it's senior night. It's for the rail. Go to the end zone, score the touchdown, celebrate with your teammates. He does so. And again, the defense just outstanding all night long for the Hoover Vikings. Look at this interception near the end zone as they were trying to hook up again. I think that was Corey Jacobs as they were trying to get the ball to. And another pick by, I think that was Carson Morris, his 5th interception of the year. Hoover wins it 35-14. They improve to 8-2 on the year. Jackson falls to 5-5. So the rail goes back to the Hoover Vikings. And John, do you have just maybe a quick shot? There it is. There's the rail. The fellas are celebrating after the game. That thing weighs a good 25 pounds. But those youngins, the Utes, were able to pick that baby up, hoist it, and celebrate the victory and bring it back to the Hoover Vikings. So an outstanding game last night. Hoover playing very good football. Jackson kind of on a slide as this season's coming to an end, much like Lake. Both teams started pretty well, but the last few weeks unable to win some big games.
Yeah, big win last night for Hoover and 8-2 for Coach Baum. And we'll, of course, hear from Coach Baum later on in the show. Hopefully, Jack Andes will be joining us as well. The plan is to have Tim Goodman kick us off with coaches and players. Tim Goodman's going to join Cash Britzker, his outstanding defensive player, going to join with him as well. Kenny, we mentioned players that had great efforts last night. And obviously, we're not going to have someone from Green on the show, but we do want to hear from a Green Bulldog because of the season that they've had. Evan Reed, after the game, had the chance to catch up with him. His big night last night, 179 yards and 2 scores.
Here with Green senior Evan Reed as they win tonight 34-27 in overtime. Finish the year 5-5 and win their last 4 Federal League games. Evan, just the effort of your team tonight. Speak to it, what you guys were able to do and get this victory.
So proud of those guys, man. We came down 7 at halftime, but that's nothing new. I mean, this team's been battling back all year, and we knew we can do the second half. We're a second half team, so we came out there fighting like we always do, and we got it done today. So proud.
Last week you caught 2 touchdowns. You ran back a kickoff. This week you rushed for 2 touchdowns, almost 200 yards. How much Wheaties have you been eating recently?
Oh, man, a lot, man. I'm just juiced up. Proud of my O-line today. They've left their butts off. I mean, couldn't do it without them.
When it comes to this team, I know you were injured at one point. I know McMichael was injured at one point. I know Hunk has had to shoulder a big load. How have you guys stuck together through all of that?
Just trust each other, the chemistry, one guy goes down, another guy steps up, and just come together as a team and fill in those spots when guys go down.
Pass game wasn't working tonight. You guys expect that to work so much of the time. How were you able to adapt and make such a great game plan? Yeah,
they were doing a great job shutting us down in the pass game. We knew we had to be able to run the ball, and our O-line, they got it going, man. And, when they work hard, when they run hard, it motivates me to go hard too. So we just got it done today, and I'm just proud of those guys.
This team this year, I know you guys are 5-5, but that's a misleading record, isn't it?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Tell us about that. I mean, why is this team the way they are? I mean, you guys could have packed it up after being 1-5, but you've kept fighting.
Yeah, we've had a few rough injuries, a lot of close games, didn't go our way, but we believed that if we kept fighting, these games would start going our way. And our guys just never backed down. We never just gave up, and we knew what team we were. We were plays and plays, like 2 plays away from winning some games, and we just knew what we could do. And we just kept fighting the whole year.
You being a senior, how important was it to set that expectations for classes to come?
Really important, man. I hope those guys believe that anything's possible. I mean, 1-5, no one outside that locker room believed in us, and just the fact that we got here, I just hope that shows them, just to fight your way out of everything. You know, get out of the corner. That's what our coach tells us. Fight out of the corner.
Last thing for you, I know that I heard the coaches coming up to you tonight and saying you're playing for one more. What would it mean if you guys could play Week 11?
Oh man, it means everything to me, man. I love playoff football. I've been grateful enough to experience it, and I'm just so excited for playoffs.
Evan, great game.
And they do have playoff football in Green.
Yep.
We get to go there. That kid Kenny, as we said, Green is a team that we cover. We see them a lot. We don't have their players or coaches on. We obviously wanted to hear from Evan Reed. His last 2 weeks, I felt he deserved being on here. Last week, 2 receiving touchdowns, took a kickoff back. He could have been our player of the week last week. This week, same thing. He's been willing them to victories recently, and that's a huge thing.
They're playing some of the best football of anybody in and around Stark County right now, and I got to give my Alt Care Stadium show partner Rick Worstel credit, because early in the season I was picking against them because they couldn't win the close game and they kept losing. Well, recently Rick's been picking for them in their favor, and they found a way to win these close games they were losing earlier in the season. So yeah, Green's in the Federal League. They're on the outside. We cover them depending on how far they go, but we focus on the 19 teams that we cover on a regular basis in Stark County. But Mark Geis, hell of a job to get that season turned around and get in the playoffs. And I don't know who they play in the first round, but they better beware because if are they a 12 seed, John? Did they get in as a 12 seed or did they get in higher?
I think they're an 11 seed.
Okay,
they're either
so
10 or an 11.
Whoever it is, 5 or 6 seed who's playing them, watch out for Sergeant Hulka, the big toe, at quarterback Tyson Hunka, and Evan Reed, very dangerous player and a dangerous team in the playoffs. John, do we have Coach Goodman ready to roll yet or no? Are we waiting on him?
No, I was going to say we've got a guy that's going to the playoffs already in. He's here. Coach Tim Goodman, Cash Brisker. Guys, there's playoff football in Alliance. Thanks for joining the huddle.
Yeah, thanks for having us on.
Coach, last night, a big win for you guys. You get a 41-6 victory over Marlington. What was the key to that blowout victory last night?
I think the key was really our defense. We came out a little sloppy offensively, had some turnovers, had some penalties that was kind of uncharacteristic of us all year long. But our defense really responded. This guy right here had a pick 6 to get us going. We had a couple more to get. He had 2 interceptions. Bino Edwards had another interception for us. So our defense really played a heck of a game, only giving up 6 points. And they kind of sparked us in that victory.
Cash, 8-2 you guys are now. You guys are headed to the playoffs. What's made this group a unique group and allowed you guys to have the success that you have?
Coming off a hard year last year, we just had to turn it around. We knew we had the talent. We just had to go out there and prove it to everybody.
Coach, how cool is it to have a kid named Cash Money with a pick 6 in a big game like that, huh?
That's what we always call him, Cash Money. So, yeah, whenever Cash makes plays, it's pretty cool to hear.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, taking those. Do you have any dollar bills that you stuff into your pants, Cash? What do you do? What's the celebration for Cash Brisker?
Nah, I don't got nothing special like that.
You don't make it rain? You don't make it rain?
Nah, I got you this week.
Let's just play to the talking, right?
Yeah.
Oh, there's the coach. Yeah, I see. I'd be doing this, man, all through the end zone, be dabbing, all that stuff, man. If I had a name like Cash and I got a pick 6 and I'm taking it to the house, the last game of the season, I'd be celebrating. Coach, you wouldn't like me as a player. You'd be in my ear all the time if that was the case.
If we get a 15-yarder this week, I know who to blame. Kenny and John.
Coach, we talk about that, though. You're playing playoff football. It was such a tough year last year. Just the satisfaction in this season. Tell us about that from your perspective.
Yeah, we use football to teach life skills. I think every coach you interview probably does that in their program. And just the resiliency these guys have shown, that to go through a tough year last year and get your tails kicked in some days, but continue to come up and show up and work hard with the big picture in mind. And the big picture was, building towards this year. And then this year, after a couple of losses, coming back and responding the right way. That's a credit to these kids and showing up and continue to work hard every single day and experience the success we've had because of those setbacks.
Coach, are you a 9 seed? Is that what I'm seeing? You guys ended up as a 9 seed according to Joe Itel?
I think he's got us at 6 right now, but there's some games impact us today, I believe.
Okay, so you're guaranteed a home game almost, right? Like 99.9% sure, right?
Yeah.
Okay. How important is that to have the season you've had, but you get to play at least one more game, it looks like, at home for these seniors and for your team to continue the momentum?
Yeah, that was huge to our kids. That's something that's never been done before in Alliance football history. We've never had a home playoff game. So that was something that we've talked about, that we can accomplish some special things this year if we take care of business. And that was the first one, getting the home playoff game. And then beyond that, there's only been one playoff victory in Alliance football history. We've been playing football since 1903.
Wow.
So trying to set up ourselves up to get that second playoff victory, we can be a team that Alliance talks about for a long time.
Cash, the magnitude of that. Like, does that register with you and the other players, just how big that could be?
Yes, sir. We've been talking about history since summer, We know we can make it happen. We just got to go out there and do it. It's very doable.
Coach, your quarterback, J.R. Jackson, we've talked about him a lot this season, and he deserves every bit of praise he gets, right? He's a two-way player, okay? He's the leader of your offense. I think he was leading the county in interceptions going into last night's game on defense. Have you noticed, I guess, the leadership qualities from him rubbing off on other players like Cash and others?
Oh, 100%. These guys are so tight-knit that the leadership that they experience and it just trickles down. I mean, these guys hang out all the time, and you see it with that group of seniors. We have 17 seniors this year, and they're a strong leadership group. But then the lessons that they've taught to these younger guys like Cash and the junior class has been invaluable for our team this year, and I think will be invaluable for our team next year when Cash and these guys become seniors and they assume those leadership positions.
Yeah, Cash, what have you learned from those seniors? What have they taught you?
Don't take anything for granted. Play like it's your last play ever.
It's a huge lesson to learn. Coach, what does that mean to hear that that's what the seniors are telling them?
Yeah, that's what you want your guys to approach the game that way, that every play is 100 miles an hour, giving their all, because, when you do that, good things are going to happen for you. So it's huge that they taught those lessons to these guys.
Tim, did you expect a potential 8-9 win season from this group?
Yeah, we thought we had the makings. We had pretty much everybody back from last year. We finished the year really strong last year. The senior class has been a really good class for us all the way up through. So we thought we had the potential. We knew we had some big games that could make or break our season. And I thought we did the right things in those games to put us here. So, I'm really pleased with our results, and hopefully we're not satisfied yet. We continue to accomplish some cool things.
Coach, potentially being the first Alliance coach to have a home playoff game at Karis Stadium. Can you put into words what that would mean to the program?
Yeah, I think it means a lot for our city and for the football program and for the future. Hopefully, when you do things like this, it inspires the next generation to, okay, we need to accomplish the same things, but hopefully push it to another level now. So, accomplishing big things like this is good for our city.
Hey, Coach, I'm going to add something else to maybe your history books here. I'm currently putting together Ken's top 10 Stark County teams to end the regular season. And I can tell you right now, I don't want to let the cat out of the bag too much yet, but you're a top 5 finisher in Ken's top 10 this year. And by the end of the season, we'll see how high that goes. All right.
Awesome. We appreciate that. Thanks, Ken. Appreciate the love.
Cash, is that Cash money being in the top 5?
Yeah.
More important things, getting that playoff win and continuing to roll throughout these playoffs, whether it's at home or on the road, Coach. Best of luck. Great regular season, but like you said, you're not done there. Bigger fish to fry, if you will, and more places to fly and land in the end zone for the Aviators.
Absolutely. Appreciate it, Kenny. Thanks, John.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Cash Brisker, man.
Right there, baby. Gotta love that. Who we had was it Big Dog? What did we have a couple of weeks? B Dog.
It was B Dog.
We had B Dog a few weeks ago. We got Cat. That's his real name. B Dog's his nickname. Cash, that's his real name, man. So pretty cool. That's a heck of a team. Seriously, whoever gets them in the playoffs, right? Green and Alliance, because of Hunka and J.R. Jackson, two of the better quarterbacks in and around Stark County that we've seen this year, right? Whoever plays those two teams, they're going to have their hands full in the playoffs.
Okay, and Kenny, Joe Itel has updated this at this point. He just updated it recently. Alliance, the worst that they can finish is 8th. So they are guaranteed now a home playoff game for the first time in school history. So they are either going to be 6, 7, or 8 in Division III, Region 9. So, we're obviously looking at key matchups going into next week, and that's a huge one right there for the Aviators. Whoever they play, you and I were talking last night, Kenny, about, games that we might want to do next week.
Right.
Home playoff game, we've Alliance football is one of the few things. There's a lot of things that have been around longer than WHBC, but Alliance football has been around longer than WHBC. So we need to be there for that when that happens.
Wait, how old is Alliance High School? We're 101 years old. You telling me they've been around longer than that?
I think he said 1903, right?
Okay. So if that's the case, man, kudos to them and best of luck to them. And while we wait for our next coach, John, I just want to run down the scores of all the games last night and give a little love to some of the individual players. Since I'm on remote today here at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium, just give me a hand gesture if we get our next coach in the green room, all right? So here are the games from last night in and around Stark County. Hoover beats Jackson 35-14. Both teams have made the playoffs. Green needed to win to get in the playoffs, and it took overtime, but the Bulldogs beat Lake 34-27. Both of those teams are in the playoffs. Perry shuts out Glen Oak 28-0 to cap off a 5-5 season for Spencer Lino in his first year at Perry. However, neither of those teams qualifying for the playoffs. Louisville clobbers Worcester 50-7. 36 points in the second quarter, 50-0, as we like to say on the Kenny and JT show at halftime. Owen DiMarzio, 122 total yards and 3 touchdowns in that game for Louisville. They're in the playoffs for the first time since 2015. Congratulations to Coach Kappas and the Leps. We just talked to Coach Goodman. Alliance a winner in the playoffs, 41-6 over Marlington. Carrollton beat Minerva last night, 38-14. But from Minerva, even though they don't make the playoffs, 5 wins in a season for, Zach Slates. Hell of a first season for Zach Slates as well. How about this? Canton South 56, West Holmes 48. My Baldwin Wallace math tells me that's 104 points in that shootout. Canton South wins it. They've won 3 in a row, 4 of the last 5. They're at 5-5 and in the playoffs for the Wildcats. Congratulations. We'll talk to Matt Dennison a little later on. Manchester beats Northwest 21-7. Northwest last week looking like they're going to be outright Pac-7 champions. Now they lose back-to-back games, but they are in the playoffs to try and rectify the last couple of weeks. The Blue Cup, battle for the Blue Cup, Tuslaw 39, Fairless 28. Nathan Eberhardt, 214 yards, 3 touchdowns running the football, 1 TD catch. Oh, yeah, and a pick 6 on defense. Might he be our Community One Credit Union Player of the Week? Stay tuned to find out. Tuslaw wins at 39-28. Both teams finished 4-6 and out of the playoffs. Central Catholic, Trucker and the Bullets. They get their first win of the season. They blank St. Thomas 54-0. Brock Burke won 2 TD runs, 2 TD passes. They finished 1-9, the Crusaders. Unfortunately for St. Thomas, 0-10 on the year. East Canton, a playoff team, edges Malvern 7-6. I think it was Dylan Anderson who scored that touchdown for the Hornets. They finish 8-2. They're in the playoffs. And Tusky Valley beats Sandy Valley in the Battle of the Valleys, 28-20. Unfortunately for Sandy Valley, they go winless this year, 0-10. So those are the games from in and around Stark County last night.
Yeah, a lot of really interesting games, and obviously a big night for a number of teams and a big night for a number of programs. And one of those programs that I'm going to give them a second here to get everything set on their end. I see that they're in the queue right now and waiting to hop on with us. But the Louisville Leopards, Kenny, this year coming in, coming off of that state championship in basketball, I know the feeling in Leopard Nation was, can the football team and Coach Kappas make the playoffs? That was the feeling. And yes, they did just squeak into the playoffs. He's setting the phone down.
There it is.
He's sitting down. He's got 2 of his guys with him. Coach Cap, you guys are going to the playoffs. Thanks for joining the huddle. Uh-oh, we can't hear you guys.
Yeah, unmute yourself, Coach, because we want to hear what you have to say about making the playoffs for the first time in Louisville since 2015. How's that feel?
Oh, it's great. This is everything we've been building for and working towards. And credit to this group of guys that they've really put the work in to put ourselves in a situation like this. And, we're excited about the opportunity and looking forward to finding out who we play.
Coach, who do you have with you right now?
So I have Owen DiMarzio, running back, plays a lot of defense last night, and Colton Doherty, our linebacker tight end.
And Coach, tell us about the effort from both of these guys last night. I know you texted me this morning. You told me about the effort. You said, hey, these two showed out last night. Tell us about that.
Yeah, and our team showed up to play last night, a senior night. We had a lot of juice going, and just the love for each other really showed up last night. And we were clicking on all cylinders from the start of the game. Owen had 3 touchdowns, one running and 2 receiving. Helping out our sophomore quarterback, making his first career start last night. And then Colton Doherty got to touch the ball twice yesterday and got himself a 53-yard touchdown catch from Gabe Stouffer with a broken wrist. And Colton also got a 2-point conversion on a botched extra point snap, but he got a catch on that, got in the end zone, and played a heck of a game on defense as well.
I want Colton and Owen to talk here about their head coach and what Coach Cap has meant to this program at Louisville and to you guys making the playoffs for the first time since 2015. Owen, you go ahead and start, and then Colton, I want you to talk about that as well.
I just really feel like it all started when he came in, the senior class this year, our sophomore year. Just what he instilled in the program, it's going to stick with us, and it's something that we all really bought into. And I feel like that's what's kind of led us really into this path. And we all love each other, and that's we go out every play knowing that, especially last night, it could have been our last. So we were really just trying to have fun and hoping for the best at the end of the game.
Colton?
It's everything. Since he's got here, he's changed the culture, and it's visible every day in practice. Anything we do, it's 100%, and you're trying to beat the guy next to you. It's competition, and he's changed everything. And for me, especially, I've learned a lot under him, all of the information and valuable knowledge that he can give to young high school players, not even just football and life in general.
Colton, he said that you got to touch the ball last night. I saw Owen kind of put up a wry smile when he said that. You don't get to touch the ball very often, do you? How did that feel?
It felt amazing. No, I haven't got to touch it since 8th grade, 7th grade. So yeah, it's a great feeling. It's a great feeling.
Coach, why last night? Why last night was it time to get him involved?
Gabe Stouffer, our starting quarterback, broke his wrist last week, and his last throw, he actually threw an interception. So we wanted to make sure we got him at least another completion. So we set up a little shovel pass, with our 2 tight ends pulling around on counter, and he just shoveled it to Colton, and he took it 53 yards to the house. We're expecting it to be a good play, but he showed the speed and the agility, so he might be getting the ball a little bit more now.
There you go, Colton. You like to hear that, right?
Yeah, that's a good thing.
And last night you guys have a sophomore quarterback, Cody Zaylor, who gets the start, and obviously, we've heard great things about him, and we know that he's probably going to be a great Leopard one day. But how do you guys as seniors make his life easier last night in his first start?
I just think it's more of vocally giving him confidence. He knows he's a great player, and he knows he can get the job done. It's just keeping his head up and keeping him strong, especially before the game, telling him that he can, and he knows he can do it. He knows he has the ability to do it. It's just us showing that we really care about him, and we have faith in him that he can go out and shine.
Owen, for you, knowing that Gabe's hurt, right? And so you're going to start a sophomore quarterback. Do you put more on your shoulders then to be a leader vocally, but also with your play, and know that you're going to have to be the go-to guy?
We know Cody's great, and when it comes to me, I guess it's just really, if my number's called, I'm going to do what I can to make the best play I can. It's not really on my back because Cody is a great player.
Coach, you have this senior class. They finally are tasting the playoffs. I know that was a goal when you came in. Just speak to this senior class, their importance, and what they'll always mean to you now that you're playing in week 11.
Yeah, and we've invested in these guys since they were sophomores. We weren't very talented, so these guys, we have a very talented senior group, and they got a chance to get in there right away when we got here. And they love football, and they're a group that's come up that really wanted that. They were coming up when Leopard football was still really good, so they know what that looks like. And that's our first conversations with these guys. That was, Coach, we want to get this back to where Louisville football belongs, get into the playoffs. And we knocked on the door a little bit last year, but we've been making strides every day since for the last couple of years. And it's just such a great group of men. They do things the right way. They get the grades they're capable of in the classroom. They hold themselves to a high standard. They serve their community, and they've really done a great job of changing the culture of how, when you're a senior or you're a junior, wherever you're at in the program, how you treat the younger players, of coaching them and helping them become the best and showing them what it means to treat other people and your teammates with respect, and what that means for the future of our program. Because this group's going to live on for a long time, and we're going to ride this wave of what the example these guys have set to keep building this thing up.
Coach, I'm curious with the playoffs, with the broken wrist, I'm guessing Cody's going to be your quarterback. Will Gabe be able to play at all in the playoffs, or is that still up in the air?
Yeah, no. So Gabe started at safety last night for us, and he can still catch. He played receiver last year, so he's still involved in the offensive game plan. He can still take a snaps at quarterback and run the ball. It's just his throwing hand that he can't really throw with his right hand. So he's still heavily involved. We got him a little bit more involved on special teams as well. But our guys have a ton of faith in Cody. He's a super, super talented player. He can really throw the ball well, and he can really run the ball as well. So, as a sophomore, we got to keep it a little bit more simple for him. But I think we got a great group around him that's going to really help build him and build his confidence week to week. And he's going to be a special player.
I have one more question for both the players real quick, and that's just that you see a guy in Gabe Stouffer, he's such a leader for you guys. Him gutting it out with a broken wrist, even playing safety. Colton, we'll start with you. What does that mean to you to see one of your leaders gutting it out with a broken wrist?
I mean, it means everything. Like, ever since Gabe got here, he wants to win. He puts his body on the line. He puts everything on the line. And I truly look at Gabe as a brother, and that's just something that's built from the things he's done in the offseason, how he's hold people accountable. And I wouldn't think anyone else on the team is as great as leader as he is, but I mean, him pushing through it is everything.
Owen?
I mean, I've seen Gabe go through his fair share of wrist injuries, because this isn't the first one. He broke it freshman year too, his right one, and he didn't shy away from anything. Got casted up, and he was out playing the next week. I mean, he did it again. He ran with a cast on during track, had to have surgery. And then, so I knew that as soon as he came off the field and he said he landed on it and he knew it was broke, I knew it wasn't going to be long before he was back in the game, because that's just who Gabe is. He's just a hard-nosed kid. Nothing will keep him off the field.
That's awesome to hear. And this, Coach, it's a road playoff game. That means Ben Stouffer and that Mini Winnie are making a road trip, right? And the rest of Leopard Nation's following you guys, right?
Absolutely, yeah. They're already planning out where the stops are and the pregame and all that stuff. So, Leopard Nation's going to travel well, and we're excited to find out where we go.
Coach, Owen, Colton, thanks for joining us this morning, and thanks for stopping by the Huddle.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Good luck, guys. Go get another victory next week. That's awesome. Great to hear them. First time since 2015 in the playoffs, John Bazika.
Yeah, and Kenny, really important to note about that too, that if Massillon wins today, then they would go to Westerville South. If
Massillon would? Who would go to Westerville South?
Louisville would.
Okay. All right.
So if Massillon wins, they're a 3 seed. Louisville would go to Westerville South.
Okay.
If McKinley wins, Massillon would be, I think, somewhere from like a 3 or a 4 or a 5 seed, maybe 6. But then Louisville would go to Hoover. So if Massillon loses, Louisville goes to Hoover. That is a potential guarantee for that would be great from our standpoint in Stark County to have a local rivalry in round one of the playoffs. Could be huge. All right, speaking of rivalries, this team won't be playing in week 11, but they have the sweetest victory of I think the night, really, when it comes down to it. And that's the Tuslaw Mustangs. They reclaim the Blue Cup, and they get to live with those bragging rights for the entire postseason. And we're joined now by the head coach, Brock Dial, and their outstanding running back and linebacker in Nate Eberhardt, who had just a tremendous game last night. Guys, congrats, and thanks for joining the Huddle.
Thanks for having us. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Coach, in a season where you're probably not going to make the playoffs that last week, though, there's always something huge to play for, right, in the Blue Cup. So how much did that motivate you as a coach, the players, and how were you guys able to get the win and bring the cup back?
Yeah, I think our kids are always motivated for this game. It's a big game for both communities. It's a fun game to be a part of, a lot of traditions with it. And I really just thought our kids handled the business really well and focused on the important things, taking care of business in the classroom, making sure we're taking care of business off the field, and really let us go out and play our best on Friday night.
Nate, last night we have a group chat at WHBC that we highlight the best performances. And last night we got a text from the stat guy at your game, and he said Tuslaw 39, Fairless 28. He said Nathan Eberhardt, 31 carries, 203 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 catch, 15 yards, 1 touchdown, 134-yard interception return for a touchdown. How many boxes of popcorn did you sell at halftime too, Nate?
Probably sold them all.
Yeah. Hey, it seems like he did a little bit of everything for you last night, Coach. So I'll start with you, Coach, and then Nate, you can chime in on this. The game plan going in, was it a heavy dose of Nate, however you could get him the football in this game?
Yeah, I mean, Nate's he's been a hell of a player for us the last 2 years, really developed into our future back, especially the second half of the season. He's ran the ball extremely hard, really able to find the holes for us. And, we want to definitely get him the ball as much as we could. And I thought our O-line played really well last night. I thought they've gotten a lot better throughout the season.
Nate, how about you, knowing that you're a big part of the game plan? How do you prepare for a game like that going in?
I really just follow my guys, and they've done great all week throughout practice, and we had the mindset that we were going to go in and just run all over Fairless.
Nate, I want to bring this play up here. This interception, what did you see here, Nate, if you can see it on the screen?
Well, I noticed that they threw that in the beginning of the drive, and I kind of noticed the high half from the guard, and I kind of just read it and made a play.
And, Coach, for a game like this, we had you a couple of weeks ago. You went for 2 against Northwest. You came up short. You've been in a lot of games this year to not only win this one, but to get a convincing win, 39-28. What's that say about the progress this team made even over the last few weeks?
Yeah, I mean, it's been honestly pretty amazing what our kids have been able to do. We're down 6 injuries, kids that have been starters for us, kids that have left, kids we had stay, man, they just busted their tail for Tuslaw and Tuslaw football. What they're able to do and be in the ball games they were in this year, it's really a testament to those kids' character, the love they have for our school and football program.
We just saw that other play there, Parker Reinhardt throwing a touchdown to you, Nate. What's it like to have a guy that normally doesn't play quarterback throwing a touchdown on a key play like that? And take us through that play, a bit of trickeration.
It's definitely different, but I was supposed to find that open space, and Parker pointed to where it was, and I knew he would make that play for me and get me the ball, so all I had to do was catch it.
Nate, did it seem like it hung up in the air forever? Were you like, hurry up, get down here? That's what it looked like to me.
Oh, it absolutely was. It felt like the longest ball ever, and I just knew I came down with it, and Parker made the great throw.
Coach, last year you guys lost right at the end of the Blue Cup, and this year you guys are able to retain it and bring it back. Just what does that do for this group, and what does that do for the culture in just 2 years for you?
Yeah, I mean, in the offseason, we put 2 signs up for our kids. One was, what's your breaking point? There's a lot of times last season that we did a 2-minute drill at the end of the half, 2 minutes and 40 seconds left against Fairless. They ran the ball down our throat. What's your breaking point going to be? And we really focused on that in the offseason. And the second one, we talked about the Blue Cup. Just a sign that was up 14-10. 2:40 left, 10-7. 2018 was the last time we won. It's reminders for our kids every day. We're working in the weight room, what we're working towards. This is an important game for our program and our community. We're gonna put a focus on it and make sure we take care of business.
Kenny, you've got the Ohio State gear on, but they went the Woody Hayes route. 1969, Buckeyes lose to Michigan, and somebody makes Woody the rug that he has to walk over every single day. Coach, was that the same thought for this?
Yeah, absolutely. Our kids, we're gonna try to motivate them and try to get them to understand what football's all about. And really, anything you do in life, you got to have goals and you got to have reminders, and that's putting it up so you can read them every day. That's part of being successful in life.
All right, John, we might as well let the cat out of the bag on this since we have both these guys on, the coach and the player, because each and every week on the Saturday Morning Huddle, we announce our Community One Credit Union Player of the Week. And after John told me those stats that you put up, there he is. He is our Week 10 Community One Credit Union Player of the Week. Community One Credit Union always on your team, and I know Coach Dial thrilled to have Nate on his team after the numbers he put up in that big win last night to retain the Blue Cup. So congratulations, Nate. Not only do you get the win, you're our Player of the Week. How's that sound to you?
Sounds great, and I'm very much appreciative of it.
And Coach, you know how special this kid is. You see him in practice every day, and then you see him on the field. What has he meant for you as a second-year coach there at Tuslaw, helping turn this program around and moving forward?
Yeah, he's a great kid, great young man. A lot of growth over the last 2 years. Really wants to be a winner in football, but really a winner in life. And he's really one of those kids that I think has helped turning the culture of Tuslaw football and really getting kids to understand of what hard work looks like, what, doing it the right way, doing it with class. He's just been a tremendous kid to coach, fun to coach. He's just been an absolute blast. And, I love to coach him. He plays it the right way and he gets after it.
Nate, for Coach to come in just not that long ago, but what has he taught you? What has he done to make you and others on the team better football players and better young men?
He's definitely taught us to push through any hardships, and that's for sure. As soon as he came in, we were all kind of scared for sure, but we all learned to grow that he was going to be a great coach for our team, and we truly bought in and followed what he said.
Coach, I'm curious, the intensity that you come with. And I saw it after that tough loss to Northwest as you were shaking hands. I could see how much that, being a Northwest guy, right? And you're going back there, a chance to win with the 2-point conversion, and you weren't the happiest, and that intensity just was oozing out of you. Like, I can't wait to get back to the film room and get this corrected and get to the next game. Where does that come from for you?
Just internal drive, very competitive. And really, that game, it wasn't so much that as alumni, it was our kids, man. And they just played so hard and so tough, and I felt so bad for them to the game. And the only thing you can do is move forward and turn that page in the book, so to speak. And I love seeing kids have success. I love seeing the football program impact the school, impact the community. That's what I grew up with my dad. And football can be a powerful tool in a positive direction. If people allow it and use it that way. And that's really what we're trying to do.
Yeah, and one more thing, John, with this, and Coach, this is, I think, the highest praise when, we get to talk to a lot of opposing coaches, athletic directors and everything, right? Jason Hathaway, I was chatting with him recently, and he has the utmost respect for you and what you're doing. And he told me, he goes, Kenny, that's going to be a playoff team next year for sure with the way, Brock is turning things around there. So you've got the respect throughout Stark County, Brock, coming in there and getting this moving in the right direction. So congratulations on that.
Yeah, thank you. I would have loved to have been able to get the playoffs this year. Feel bad for the kids. I think we could have made a nice run. We played some really good football. Just been on the unfortunate side of the column.
Kenny, when Brock took over and I spent my time out in Wayne County covering him at Dalton, I remember thinking to myself, oh my gosh, Tuslaw got one here. Like they got a guy, they got a dude. He took Dalton to the state title. And I know Brock, your dad, Gary, was a great man and a great coach as well. And Brock, Nate, hey, Nate, congratulations, by the way, Player of the Week. Congratulations to you. And hey, enjoy the blue cup. Go put it somewhere for all of Fairless to see now that you've got it in your possession.
All right. Thanks, guys.
There they are.
Another big rivalry win last night, right? The rail goes now to Hoover. The blue cup is in the hands of the Tuslaw Mustangs, right? The Holy War, I don't know what they get. I'm not sure what Trucker and Central get for that. And then we've got the Victory Bell today up for grabs, which has been in Masslin's control now for the last 9 years.
Yeah, it's been in Masslin's control a lot since 1957 when it became a thing when Lee Trussell was battling. I don't know who he was playing against back then, but I know Lee Trussell was on the sideline for Massillon at that point. That's crazy to think about that. You mentioned how we know all these coaches so well. I just said that to Brock, but it's so tough because we love AJ so much at Fairless too. Yep. It's so tough to say to him, like, hey, celebrate your pants off on this, because we know how much AJ and Fairless is hurting today. And just, we're so lucky to be so close to a lot of these guys, Kenny, that, it really does become a personal thing in week 10.
It does. John, throw that photo up of our player of the week one more time. Give him some more love. When it comes to money, Community One Credit Union is always on your team. They've got the plays that make life easier, from loans to checking, online banking, mobile services, youth accounts, everything in between as well. Community One Credit Union, where community comes first. Membership is open to everybody in Stark County. And again, our Week 10 Community One Credit Union Player of the Week, Nate Eberhard, with a hell of a game for the Mustangs to get that blue cup back in Tuslaw.
All right. Got another coach stopping by, another program that is tasting the playoffs yet again this year. Last year they were in. The year before that, they made the run that had all of Stark County talking, and that is Coach Matt Dennison and the Canton South Wildcats. Coach, thanks for joining the huddle. Congratulations. 5-5, you're a 12 seed. You're just sneaking in. How does it feel?
Oh, it feels good because, I think we're a very dangerous team right now. We start the year 1-4, have a bunch of injuries and have a really rough start, play one of the toughest schedules in Ohio. I like seeing that when you look at Drew Pastor and they say we play the 6th toughest schedule in the state of Ohio. So
wow.
That makes you feel a little bit better. And then we got healthy and we started winning some games and our team really came together, and we're 4-1 the last 5 weeks and have really played well. I mean, I think we've punted 4 times in the last 5 weeks. Huh?
That's like the stat of the year, Coach.
Yeah, I know. We like not punting because a couple of them have been blocked.
What was it again? I
think we've punted like 4 times in the last 5 weeks, 4 or 5 times the last 5 weeks.
Wow, that's amazing. And who do you have with you today, Coach, so we can ask him about that?
I have D'Angelo Spear. D'Angelo's a senior captain. He's the heartbeat of our team. He has been a 3-year starter for us. 2 years ago when we made the big run as a sophomore, he played more plays than anybody on our team. He plays defensive end and offensive guard for us, and he's a difference maker.
D'Angelo, what's this? I'm sorry, John, I got to ask you, what's this mean to you, D'Angelo? Because I know with high school these days, kids can come and go to other schools and that. You've stayed even after that state semifinal run, and now here you are reaping the rewards, getting in the playoffs. What's it mean to you to be back there?
It means a lot, especially when you got Coach E as a head coach. Like, he's like one of the best in Stark County, so just like no point leaving.
Yeah, being with that group that you were, D'Angelo, you were just a young sophomore on that team, and I remember you making an impact. How do you still carry the lessons from that year and teach the guys on this team about what you guys did that season?
I just tell them never give up because, like, the old team, like, we just played as one. Like, it was hard to stop us when we played together. So I just focus, like, teamwork, not giving up on each other.
Coach, I got to go back to this punting thing, man. 4 times in 5 weeks. Is this a mentality going into the game? Okay, we've had some trouble punting. It's probably better to maybe go for it. Is there a down and distance where you say if it's within this, we're going for it and we're not punting? Or are you guys just so damn explosive you don't have to worry about that?
Week 10, starting week 10, we're gonna go for it a lot. I'm gonna be like those guys that I don't agree with a lot on Saturdays and Sundays when they go for it at midfield. But we were 3 for 3 last night on 4th downs. We had two fourth and ones, and then we had a 4th and 10 that we were gonna punt. We lined up a like what we call our pink punt, which is our we keep the offense on the field and the quarterback punts it. Lined it up. We shifted and they jumped offside. So then we're at 4th and 5, and we threw a little in route to Rez Conley and got that one too. So, but we really haven't had to go for it. 4th and long. That's the one thing we've done the last 5 weeks. We've really stayed ahead of the chains. In fact, the one game we lost, the Triway game, we were behind the chains and it hurt us. So we've been running the ball very effectively. We've been throwing the ball, but the run game has been really good for us. We kind of have the Brody Beagle really running the ball well. Braylon Conley's really running the ball well. I mean, they're you go in 11 personnel or 10 personnel, and you can't focus on one of them. And then we're spreading the field out with our receivers that are really, really good. We have 4 receivers that can catch the ball and can take the top off. So, we make people play honest, and we're going to take if you load up the box, we're going to throw it 30 times. If you put 6 in the box, we're going to run it with our guys, and we can play +1 a lot because we have so many threats. And even when we go to our 21 and our 20 personnel, we have 3 guys that can run the ball because Diego Bautista is a great running back also. So, we've got some things that you got to you got to attend to as a defense that we're going to make you play honest.
D'Angelo, 2 years ago, you guys entered the playoffs, and with Pucci and with, all the other guys that were around you, everyone was saying, well, they're surely going to make a run. This year, you sneak in as the 12 seed. What do you enjoy more, being the underdog or being the favorite? What's more fun for you?
Underdog, more like a Cinderella type story.
And why do you think this team can make a run, D'Angelo? What is it about this team, especially in the last 5 weeks, that makes you guys a team that your opponent should be afraid of?
We've been playing our best football. We've been like 4-1 since we lost against Triway, but I just preach, don't give up on us. We can win this. I think we can go all the way, in my opinion.
And, Coach, you got to love hearing that confidence from a 12 seed, right?
Yeah, we've really come together. We're one of those teams that if I'm a 5 seed, I'm like, crap, we got to play them because they're really playing well. And you turn on our tape, you're going to be – we're not playing like a 12 seed right now. And, I like our region. I like our likely matchups. I think that, we're going to have to travel a long way. But, boy, we match up pretty well with either of the 2 teams that we could possibly play.
Yeah, Coach, I'm looking back at it right now. The last 5 weeks, 51 points you put up against Orville. You put up 23 in the loss to Triway, 31 against Fairless, 28 against Tuslaw, and then last night, is your head still moving back and forth watching all the offense that you did last night? Coach, what's changed, though?
It's fun to watch because we're really balanced. I mean, we threw 4 touchdown passes last night, and I think we threw the ball 15 times. Because we're running the ball. I said I feel like stinking Maslin. We're power post.
Coach, how much fun are you having with this team?
This team's been a lot of fun. The last 5 weeks, I mean, just the resiliency, the guys that the old Bo Schembechler saying, "Those who stay will be champions," is really this team epitomizes that. Man, those who stay will be champions. Because when things go bad, you lose some people, and that's the nature of it. And we found the guys that have grit, the guys that have toughness, and they're in the room right now, and they're playing hard right now, and they're on the field right now, and they've done a good job. And like I said, we're a scary team right now. We're a team that's dangerous to anybody we play. We feel we can play with anybody in that people put out in front of us. We are battle tested, that's for sure.
Last thing I have for you, Coach, 2 years ago, you made that run and everybody has talked about it since then. Do you think that ultimately doing that set the table for a team like this year, that when their backs were against the wall, they knew how to fight?
Oh, absolutely. These seniors were sophomores that year and they saw, even that year we had some adversity. We had to go through some things. We had, the Tuslaw game, the Triway game when Pucci got hurt. We had to hang on and survive. And in the playoffs, we were, everyone thought we could win, but nobody really, I don't know how much people believed in us as we went. And I think it was kind of like that, the new kid on the block, and let's see what they can do. And now we're a team that our expectations going into the season were to make a playoff run. and we never wavered on that, and we're in a position now to make that playoff run. Our goals were to get to the regional championship and to get to a position where we're playing, in the Sweet 16, in the Elite Eight, and they're still in front of us, and we talked about that today.
Coach, what's it going to take, though, to make another run? I know offensively you can do it. You gave up 48. So is it, knowing your team, okay, we're going to have to outscore people? That's the way we're going to play. And so if that's the case, what's it going to take?
We got into that last night. It's weird because, the match, football has changed so much. It's such a matchup game right now. And they had some good matchups, and they utilized that, and we didn't capitalize on some opportunities. We had we had a couple turnovers we thought were turnovers that the referees didn't give us, but those things happen. But we had that potential for 3 more turnovers that we just we dropped the ball. We weren't quite ready to make the play. That's the things we've got to change defensively. We talked to our kids about our defensive philosophy. We got to get the ball back in our hands. We got to have 4 to 5 stops a night, and we think we're in a good place.
Coach, I got to ask you one more question. What do you enjoy more, not punting or a cheeseburger in paradise? What would you prefer there?
Boy, you know what? That's a tough one. Kenny and I are both major parrot heads, so we like the same kind of stuff. I was jealous he went to when you went to see the Mac McAnally and the Coral Reefers, and unfortunately we had practice that day. I guess I had to choose that over those guys playing, but I was jealous of you, and Kenny was kind enough to send some videos to me.
D'Angelo, that's how dedicated your coach is. I don't know how much you know about being a parrot head, Jimmy Buffett, and all that, but we're loyal.
Knows nothing.
Okay, then I'll just say
Buffett is.
I'll just say this. All right, loyalty, right? We're as loyal to Jimmy Buffett as he is to you guys, and he picked you guys over going to see the band. So know that he cares about you guys. All right.
Thank you,
D'Angelo. Is that just corny stuff that your coach is into?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's funny. I got in there, and they got in my car. We were going to an interview, and I had Marley playing. I had some Bob Marley playing. They kind of looked at me like, "What the heck are you listening to?"
D'Angelo, what are you listening to? Like, if it's the pregame, right, and you got your headphones on, you're prepping for the game, getting ready for the game. What are you listening to so we can compare it to what coach is listening to?
It's like most likely random, but it's like most likely hype songs.
Coach, Cheeseburger in Paradise hypes you up, right?
Absolutely. I gotta calm myself down. That's why I'm listening to a little bit of Buffett, a little bit of Zach Brown, a little bit of some mellow stuff.
A little bit of toes in the water, a little bit of Marley, a little reggae action. I said reggae, Michael reggae action and everything. So, we'll get together after the season, Coach, all right?
Absolutely.
There they are, the parrot heads together, both Kenny Rhoda and Matt Dennison. And then D'Angelo saying, what in the hell is going on out there? So, guys, thanks for joining us on the Huddle. Congrats. And hey, we can't wait to see the Wildcats make another run this postseason. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it, guys.
Safe travels and best of luck, man. Love that story, right? They battled another team down. They weren't out. They come all the way back, go 4-1 in the second half of the season, win their last 3, throw up a 56 spot last night on West Holmes. And, John, the stat of the year, man, they punted 4 times in the last 5 weeks. That's how dominant their offense has been, averaging 39 points a game, I think it averages out to over those last 5 weeks.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see that on your screen, Kenny. I know you're using your phone, but his graphic that I put up was
there. It is.
Matt Dennison punted 4 times in the last 5 weeks. I mean, that's, even when Poochie was there, Kenny, they would punt sometimes in some of their games. They didn't get stopped a lot, but I'm guessing they punted more times than that over a 5-week period that year. But that's just unbelievably incredible offense.
What's a crazier stat? Punted 4 times in 5 weeks, or the 6th toughest schedule of any school in the state of Ohio this year?
Well, and you start analyzing that a little bit deeper, Kenny, and you look at who they played. Now, week 1, Mogadore Field, that was a surefire win for them. But then from CVCA all the way down to West Holmes, basically everyone else that they played, CVCA a playoff team, Akron East a playoff team, Manchester a playoff team, Northwest a playoff team. I think Orville's a playoff team. I need to double check. Yeah, they're going to the playoffs. Another playoff team, Triway, 9-1. They're going to the playoffs. I believe they clinched a first-round bye, and then they finished with Fairless, Tuslaw, and West Holmes. All three are going to miss the playoffs, but it comes down to what we always say, Kenny. You battle test yourself early in the year so that late in the season, when there are other teams that are maybe banged up or going through things, you're stronger, you're better, you're faster, you're just the more equipped team. And I know it, you know it. I don't want to face Matt Dennison in the playoffs because he knows how to put together a game plan.
He really does, John. So congratulations to them. John, let's do a couple of things real quick here. We want to go through all the teams that are in the playoffs, John. So if you can run through that, and then we've got to do our Marianne Donuts Sweet Play of the Week as well here as we continue along on the Saturday Morning Huddle a little after the top of the hour here.
Yeah, if you look at the bottom of the screen now, Division I, Region 1, McKinley has a bye, Jackson has a home game. D2 Region 5, Lake has a bye, Green is in. D2 Region 7, Massillon, kind of to be announced. Hoover has a home game. Louisville is a 12 seed. D3 Region 9, Alliance with the first home playoff game in school history. D4 Region 13, West Branch has a bye. Northwest and Salem are in. Northwest may have a home game. D4 Region 15, Canton South is a 12 seed. And D7 Region 25, East Canton has a home game. I was actually going to go back on Joe Itel, Kenny, and check that and see where they finished in D7 Region 25. Looks like they're a 7 seed. So they're either going to play Lisbon David Anderson or Berlin Center Western Reserve. So going to be one of those two, dependent, I think, on a game today that we'll have to wait and see. But man, it's a lot to handle. It's a lot of different moving pieces and parts, and, doing pretty well this year. Starr County and the surrounding area, number of teams making the playoffs, number of teams just on the outside looking in. I feel for both the Tuslaw and Fairless kids, as we said, 13 and 14, they are in the region in D5 Region 17, just on the outside looking in. And I feel the same way about Tuslaw or Fairless that I feel about Canton South. I think if they had snuck in, they would have been a dangerous 12 seed to sneak in.
All right, let's get a look at our Marianne Donuts Sweet Play of the Week, John Bazika. But do we want to set it up this way? And this play right here is I'm looking at my screen. This is a play to Jack Andes. Now, you're saying, is this the Sweet Play of the Week, Roadman? No, it's not. But here's the backstory. Jack Andes is a playmaker. Anytime he touches the ball, he can take it the distance for Hoover, and everybody knows that, including opposing defenses and special teams. So what Jackson did all last night was kick away from Jack Andes. What's that do? That gives one of his teammates an opportunity to make a big play. And Bryson Byer right here with the Marianne Donuts Sweet Play of the Week. It turned the game around in Hoover's favor. Bryson Byer, 95 yards on that kickoff return for Hoover last night because they didn't kick it to Andes. It's like, okay, we're going to intentionally walk that guy and face the next hitter. Well, in this case, they kind of, intentionally walked Jack Andes, although he got him back later on this long 50-yard touchdown run to put the game away. But, when it came down to starting the second half, they elected to kick the ball to Bryson Byer. And Bryson Byer made, like Tim Misney, he made them pay for kicking to him on this 95-yard touchdown run. So congratulations to Bryson Byer and the Hoover Vikings. That is our Marianne Donuts Sweet Play of the Week. Marianne Donuts and the Saturday Morning Huddle, the perfect combination to get caught up on all things high school football in and around Starr County. Grab your favorite box of Marianne Donuts, a cup of coffee, or a hot chocolate, then sit back and enjoy the Saturday Morning Huddle or whatever you're doing on Saturday morning and see how your team did Friday night. Marianne Donuts, high school football, WHBC, classic Canton traditions.
It's fascinating, Kenny. Bryson Byer, I believe early this year, was one of our sweet plays of the week against Louisville, and same thing. He took back the opening kickoff of the second half there. So young man has a knack. When you sent me that text last night, I said during our broadcast, that young man has a knack of making big kickoff returns at the right time. A couple years ago, you remember this, they had Mason Ashby was an outstanding return man for Coach Brian Baum, and Bryson Beyer has kind of filled that role this year and been a big piece for them. And I think they're dangerous. 8-2, they're playing really good football. Key thing with them is, can John Collins continue to get healthier as the playoffs ensue ahead of them?
Yeah, and they're a 5 seed, so they don't get the bye, right? But they get a home game. And like you said, depending on what happens today, with who takes home the victory bell between Massillon and McKinley, because they won the rail last night, that gets them a home game after they beat a Division I school in Jackson to take back the rail, and they're celebrating it right there, with all the players. And talking to Jack Andes after the game and listening to conversations with some of the other players, that was on their mind. In fact, Coach Baum told me, he goes, look, I've been getting grief from my kids because we lost the rail last year. So we had to go get the rail so I didn't get grief from my kids, when I'm home. So a 5 seed for Hoover. And, yeah, they've got some game breakers on that offense with Jack Andes, Bryson Beyer, and John Collins, that dual threat quarterback. He had a solid game last night. Jack Andes, another. How about this? Jack Andes. Let's give some love. I know he wasn't our player of the week, Community One player of the week, but he was in the running for it. Jack Andes from Hoover last night. 13 carries, 109 yards and a touchdown, 9 receptions, 120 yards and a touchdown, 22 touches, 229 yards, 2 scores. And yes, they intentionally walked him on that second half kickoff, and they made him pay Bryson Beyer with that touchdown run. And that turned a 7-6 deficit into a 14-7 lead, and they never looked back after that kickoff return from Bryson Beyer. So congratulations to Hoover, to Jack Andes, and of course to Bryson Beyer with the Marianne Donuts Sweet Play of the Week.
Yeah, you see Jack Andes there on the screen holding the rail. Doesn't look like he's struggling much to hold it, despite it being 30, 35 pounds. He's a young kid. He can handle it. That would throw out my shoulder probably.
And John, a couple of weeks ago, they lose to McKinley 21-20, right? He doesn't finish the game because he had a concussion. And I know that was eating at him. And I was texting or on Twitter, DMing with his mom and everything. And she was updating me on how he was doing. So he's back, recovered from that. He's an impact player. You got to talk about Jack Andes if you're talking about Stark County Player of the Year this year with the job he did starting the season as a wide receiver, having to move to quarterback, right, when John Collins gets hurt for Hoover, and then Collins comes back, and now he's wide receiver, defensive back, kick returner, punt returner, Swiss Army knife. So, yeah, his name has got to be in the conversation for Stark County Player of the Year.
Yeah, you start thinking about that as being an honor now, too, and who's going to make the WHBC team here in a couple weeks and whatnot. But, yeah, he's a big name to watch out for.
John, now 19 touchdowns after adding 2 more last night. Receiving, running, and returning. 19 touchdowns for that kid. And his team's headed to the playoffs. That's the most important stat he'll tell you about, too. He's such a team-oriented kid as well. So congratulations to all of our teams that have qualified for the playoffs. Congratulations to some of the teams that failed to make it but had turnaround seasons, which should catapult them into a good season next year. And we've got one more game in week number 10, John, coming up. I'm here at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium in the press box, where we'll be broadcasting the game on WHBC Radio, Mix 94.1 Radio. And then, of course, you can watch this game live on the WHBC YouTube channel today. And I know we had great viewership, whenever we broadcast this game anywhere. But I know on YouTube it was huge a couple of years ago. And this is going to be a hell of a game today. This is a chance for McKinley, I think, to really have a shot at ending that 9-game losing streak. We don't know if Xavier Owens is going to play or not today for the Massillon Tigers. He's their outstanding running back. 7 wins in a row for Renzi Parnell in his first year at McKinley. He knows what it's like to play Massillon from when he was the DC at Akron Hoban, so he'll be ready for this. This is going to be a hell of a game today.
Yeah, always shapes up to be a big one, and always a key victory. Here's a great old program from back in the day for these two, and You think about the history, Kenny. I was putting it together last night, and I want to give these notes here. I'm going to give it today from the sideline when I'm doing the YouTube game. But this rivalry, it predates Utah being a state. 1896, Utah became a state. It went from being a territory to a state. Grover Cleveland was the president when this rivalry started in 1894. It's just incredible. And if you think back, McKinley, I was doing some of the research yesterday. They won like 13 of the first 14. Since then, Massillon, I think, has a record of 77, 40, and 5. So Massillon, or 4. So Massillon has really dominated the rivalry, really in the modern era. Post Paul Brown, they've been the dominant team in the rivalry. And there's only one other time that a 9-game winning streak happened. It was 1957 to 1965, a streak that started with Lee Trussell and a streak that ended with Earl Bruce, if you think about it like that. So great names that start and end that streak. And this one, amazingly enough for Massillon, it has all been one guy. People often wondered in Massillon, would one coach ever last longer than Paul Brown's record? And well, this guy, Nate Moore, has lasted. And I think one day when he hangs it up for the Tigers, he might have a statue right next to Paul Brown.
136 meeting, John Bazika, between Massillon and McKinley. Massillon leads the series 77, 53, and 5. The Tigers have won 9 in a row, ties for the longest winning streak, right? Massillon's won the last 6 meetings by double digits. And the last McKinley win was, well, it wasn't at this stadium. It was at the other stadium, right? It was at Fawcett Stadium in Nate Moore's first year when McKinley beat Massillon 30-28, and a Chicago Bear was playing quarterback for the McKinley Bulldogs, and that was Dominic Robinson, and he helicopters into the end zone for the touchdown, and they hold on and get the win in a thriller. But McKinley coming into this game, 7 straight wins in the regular season. Massillon has gotten back on track, 3 straight wins for the Tigers. And so really looking forward to this matchup. And of course, on the YouTube game, you'll be working the sidelines. Frank Salona calling the action. Tom McDaniels, who just arrived here in the press box. How about this guy? When he was the head coach at McKinley, 11-7 against Massillon. So he knows a little bit about what it takes to beat the Tigers. And I'm sure he'll have plenty to say about that today during the broadcast.
Most wins in the rivalry for a McKinley coach belong to Coach McD. Most wins in the rivalry for a Massillon coach, Kenny, it belongs to who?
Is that Nate Moore?
It's Nate Moore.
How about that? So both of those coaches will be in the building. We'll be watching one on the sidelines, and the other one will be calling the action on our YouTube game. How sweet is that?
Pretty incredible. And, of course, we look forward to Coach McDaniel's thoughts later on the YouTube game. Kenny.
And I think he beat him, too, when he was at Warren Harding as well, right? So he can – doesn't matter where Coach McDaniels was coaching. He found a way to beat Massillon. So he's smiling right now over here as they're getting set up.
Did he? I was going to say he heard it.
Let me update you on it, since you know what, you always say consider the source. You better have a good source. Well, the source is Tom McDaniels, and he went 5-1 at Warren Harding. So 5-1 and 11-7. That means, if my math is right, 16-8 between those two schools when he was the head coach going head to head against Massillon.
It's a guy who owns Massillon. Everyone always jokes about that Massillon has beaten McKinley all 4 times at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. So potential big thing there. But hey, McKinley's former coach, Tom McDaniels, and Warren's former coach, he's got ownership. He's got part ownership of Tiger Stadium.
And you know what else is great? I was going, through the protocol of getting up here, getting our press pass, and I saw a name on the list that's going to be here. We had him on the Kenny and JT show earlier this week. You texted me something about him. Mike Doss, who went 4-0, right? Freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year. He doesn't lose to Massillon. He wins back-to-back state championships. Of course, Coach McDaniels was the head coach for one of those state titles. And he goes 4-0. And as we're talking to him, he's talking about a touchdown he scores at Massillon, and he does the Superman pose to the crowd. And you're like, hey, we have that video. And I did a still shot and sent a picture of him posing like Superman. And it's got the WHBC sign right there as well. So that's what makes this rivalry the greatest. in all of high school sports, the 136 meeting, and the proximity of these two schools. They're in the top 10 in all-time high school football wins. I think Massillon is 2 and McKinley might be 7 or 8, right? So that's what makes this game the greatest game, and that's why it's the same time every year, 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon, week 10, and we've got you covered with our YouTube game as well as the radio game.
Kenny, great stuff today as always. Thanks to all of our coaches and players that stopped by. Congrats to all of our teams moving on to the playoffs. Please make sure to listen to us today, 1480 WHBC, WHBCsports.com, YouTube, Facebook, everywhere. Check it all out. We will have live coverage all afternoon from Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium of the McKinley-McKinley game. And Kenny, I got to go get ready. I got to hightail it down to Canton. You're already there. But Bazika's Squared are on their way down here in just a bit. And hey, 2 p.m., it'll be number 136, and it'll be better than the 135 before it.
And you know what? We start with the pregame show at noon. Rick Borstel, state championship winning quarterback at McKinley. He beat Massillon. We kick it off at noon with the Alt Care Stadium show. So I'm going to turn around, go back there, and get ready to do this thing on the radio.
Sounds good, Kenny. Great stuff today. Again, thanks to everyone for joining the Saturday morning huddle. Week 10 in the books.
And John, before we say goodbye, please give some love to our sponsors before we get out of here, because they deserve it. Without our sponsors, we do not have the Saturday morning huddle. I'll let you run through that. You can take me off so I can go get things hooked up for the. All right.
Sounds good, Kenny. Thanks. Thanks to our sponsors, of course, as always, here on the Saturday morning huddle. We could not do it without them. As Kenny said, Akron Auto Auction. Thanks to everything that they do. Thanks to Community One Credit Union. Thanks to DeHoff Realtor Ty Colucci for his help. There's Akron Auto Auction. Of course, Marianne Donuts, key sponsor for us, the sweet play of the week. We mentioned it. Community One Credit Union. Nathan Eberhard, our player of the week from Tuslaw, for his outstanding effort. Dirty Hands Excavating and Restoration, LLC. Thanks to Brandon Carl and the folks at Dirty Hands. And then last but not least, thanks to Ty Colucci and the folks at DeHoff Realtors. Could not do it without any of them, and could not have our high school coverage of football without any of these fine folks helping us out year in and year out and week in and week out. All right, that's going to do it for us on the Saturday morning huddle. Thanks to Kenny. Thanks to all of the coaches that joined. John Bozika saying so long for week 10. Massillon and McKinley coming your way to later on today on WHBC, on the radio, on YouTube, and in different avenues. So be sure to check into that. We break the huddle now, and we'll talk to you next week here on WHBC's Saturday morning huddle.